Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel for another dive into the world of commercial cinematography. Yes, it is here, and today we're going to be discussing a fact that is not often discussed, at least not by me. And I'm the only person I listen to. So if I'm not talking about it, it doesn't exist. What we're doing is cinematographers, you don't often hear that you have to be good at taking a picture to be a cinematographer. Right? There's lots of little tips and little techniques that you can learn, things like the framework, and you can set all these things up to give yourself the best chance, right? Because if you're not good, why not eliminate as many variables as possible to give yourself a leg up, okay? Let's see. I'm not good at golf. Not a very good golfer. If I was going to play Tiger Woods in a heads-up match of golf, I don't even, if they call it, do they call it a match? Whatever. If I'm going to play him in one hole, whoever wins, whoever has the least amount of strokes is the ultimate champion. The loser dies, and I am offered an advantage. I could either have my ball next to Tiger's when we tee off, or I could place my ball right next to the cup and just tap it in. Chances are I'm going to beat Tiger if mine is just on the edge. Like I want the hole there and the ball there, and I just want to. I can do that, right? Just tap it in. I'm not going to do all the other hard stuff. Leave that to somebody that's actually good. That's not my job. And what do you do in pre-production? I'm eliminating all those strokes in pre-production, all the things that would give us problems, all the things that would make trouble for me that I would have to overcome later on. But you don't learn this stuff out the gate, right? You start on the tee, you slice it into the next hole, and pretty sure, you don't even know where you are. You don't even know you're playing golf anymore. It's going to be a disaster. That's not what we're talking about today. I got completely distracted. What we're talking about today is nobody ever says that you have to be good at taking photos. So how do you get better at taking photos? You take photos, right? This is something where if your life is not interesting, you have an ample opportunity to do something that's very difficult and something that will help your career pretty much until the end of time. The entire career that you have in cinematography is going to be better if you can make the mundane seem interesting. Okay, if you've got an awesome life and you're traveling all over the world and you're taking pictures of interesting places, nobody cares. It's like, yeah, that's obvious. That's a home run. That's like tapping it in when the ball's just on the edge of the cup. Anybody can do that. I want to see you take pictures of boring stuff, mundane. If you can make that look interesting, well, then that's the skill that people are paying for. Right? Anybody can fly out to the nice spots and take great pictures of cool things. I want you to be able to take pictures of terrible things, things that are not interesting, that are boring. And we're going to be looking at a commercial which does just that. And you're going to start to see some patterns that continue to come up here. We're going to look, okay, we got a drippy sink. Lady's having a nap on the ground. It's a little bit dusty. We're going to make ourselves a little cup of joe. That's always nice. Yum, tomato soup. Ooh, one of my favorites. And here we go, a little cup of joe. We're doing a puzzle. Nobody's leaving a puzzle that close to finished. What are you doing? Right? We're missing about 8 pieces there. That should tell you that this lady has got psychological issues. You're leaving a puzzle like that. So we're in an apartment. We're watching this record play. Again, oh, there's a couple more puzzle pieces there. I get it. Right? She's exhausted. She's been doing puzzling. She's reaching up. Maybe one too many vinos. And looking at the light, actually probably had an edible, didn't she? That's why she's on the ground. She's got a little peanut butter and jelly bagel that she made herself. Just passed out. Talk about an afternoon. That's living here, right? Anyway, so you'll see it's not that exciting. We're not rolling. Why isn't it 4x3? Where's the grain? Why are we looking at this, Patrick? This seems like pretty boring cinematography. Can I get a cleaner in here? What is this? That is, you've got asthma issues written all over it. Okay, we keep going. This can't be a real commercial. Did somebody pay for this? Yes, somebody did. Why? Because you're thinking right now, well, it's pretty easy. Looks pretty simple. I don't understand what we're going to talk about. Except I just gave it away in the whole introduction here. Can we fast forward a little bit? Okay, sky. Ooh, clouds. Okay, I think you've seen enough, right? I didn't say curtains and shears, though. Haha. Okay, what are we looking at every single time? This is not exciting stuff. This is nothing that would be like, wow, how did they do this? Every single shot has a little bit of light and a lot of darkness, which we call contrast. Light versus dark. Okay, that's what you're constantly doing. And we're constantly looking for angles and edges, right? You don't want to, again, you don't want to just show the person plonk, like, oh, this is a no-brainer, right? First of all, just notice this. On any job, anytime, you're in between setups and the director's just like, I'm not feeling it. Like, we need something else. Shadow. Just shoot the shadow. That's your number one recommendation. And you can't just immediately say, oh, let's shoot the shadow like everybody does. No, you have to make it seem novel and new. You're selling an idea on set, okay? You convincing the director that this is going to be a great, new, unique idea, that's part of the game, right? The director knows it's part of the game too. You guys are playing. You're like, what should we do? They come over to you. They've got the cappuccino in hand. They're just like, scene's not working. Client, agency, nobody's happy. And you're just like, man. And you have to pretend that you're not thinking about the next job. You're just like, oh, that's a shame. What about, I don't know, if we just flip the script? Let's do something different. Let's do something unique. Let's just give me a minute. And then you just go into space, right? You just roll your shoulders and act like you're like you're conjuring up some cinematography gods or spirits. You're like, look around, and you do this with your hand, like you look at the light sometimes, and and then you go, I got it. Look at this pattern, and you go like this to the director. Come over here. No, don't say anything. We're gonna roll, right? We'll just turn off the client agency monitor. We're gonna roll. But I'm going to be shooting the shadow. And you just pretend like it's just a rehearsal. Like you just want to get, you and the actress, you just want to get, on the same page with stuff. And I'm just going to shoot the shadow. And the director goes like this. And you go, that's why you got me, right? That's why I'm here. Shoot the shadow. The same thing here, right? Little tiny dot of sun. Lots and lots of darkness. I think that's this whole ad. I think it's more towards the front, though, that we actually did it. What's up? Oh, God, curtains and shears again. No, let's go back here. So all of these things. Shoot the shadow. Come on. Notice dark and lines, that aren't just going perfectly straight. They're angling across the frame. You have to be good at taking photos to be a great cinematographer, right? Like this is cool. Why? Just imagine if it was flat. Okay, we're just doing example after example, which is the whole reason looking at this particular ad, this shot. This is interesting. Why? Because we've got contrast, right? This is not like plonk. We need a shot of the girl with the picture frame. And you're just like, okay, I can do that. And then you go and you put the perfect frame up for the picture. And the director's going like, no. Your name's Bob the cinematographer. Actually, Bob's the gaffer. Rick is the cinematographer. Rick, I don't want just a shot here. We're creating a mood. We're selling a mood. This is a commercial for WhatsApp, right? We don't need a shot of this girl playing in the sand. You're creating a mood that WhatsApp users will want their life to improve like this lady's is, right? Because she's going to get a message from her mom. It's her birthday, right? That's what you're doing. And then Rick goes, oh, I see. No need to tell me twice. Bang, same thing. Here, not this one, this one. Like, imagine this is where it is a little bit deceiving doing the YouTube thing, because we're looking at this going like, obvious, right? Of course you want to put a little bit of the hot sunlight on her, and then you want to have the chair in the frame, and then you want to have this with the reflection. Obvious, easy. No, not easy, right? If it was easy, I'd be out there doing it. I'm not talking to you. When you get here and you're in this location, you're like, oh, we need a shot of her lying down. What are we going to do? You're just going to be like plonk, and you're going to forget this, and you're not going to do this thing, and this thing is going to be too harsh, and you're going to think to yourself, oh, maybe I should soften it off. Right? Maybe I should just edge it back just a little bit. Wrong. Don't do it. Right? Make it interesting. Yeah, just like imagine this location. This is nothing awe-inspiring. There's nothing magic about this, like even that. What are we doing? What are we doing with our lives? We're watching a tomato commercial. Anyway, that's it. You got to get good at taking photographs. Now, how do you get good at taking photographs? You find a system that works for you where you challenge yourself to make the mundane interesting. If you cannot make the boring interesting, you got work to do. How do you get better at doing that? You just take lots and lots of pictures. Everyone makes fun of me because in the introduction to the Wandering DP podcast, I put in a little section about Leica photography. I've never talked about Leica photography on the podcast. Why? Because it's just this. That was it. I went through a period, years, right? Easy to say, hard to do. Years of walking around with a camera strapped to my body, taking pictures of boring stuff, trying to make it interesting. Why? Because it's like a muscle, right? You get really good at going, how do we take this thing that's halfway boring? And you want to talk about commercial cinematography? 99% of the time, you're going to be shooting boring stuff, right? And if you can make it halfway interesting, everyone's going to be like, wow, this looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look. And you're like, yeah, it does. If you said the opposite, I would be insulted. And if I was insulted, I wouldn't say anything. I'd still take the money. But, I wouldn't hire you again if you're a crew member, that's for sure. Jeez, trying to make me feel insecure. Anyway, that's life. Yeah. Sun, angles, reflections. This is another one. Like, the only thing better than a shadow is, can I get a reflection? Reflection is like, why? Because you get the instant depth. You get instant depth. And depth is really hard to do. You want to maximize depth. Reflections, shadow. If that's all you take from this entire channel, I gave you a gift. But you really gave it to yourself because you ended up watching this. Anyway, you like these gems? You like other stuff about cinematography? Maybe you want this in a longer form. Maybe you want to look at feature films. Maybe you want to help me live my best life. Do that in the link in the description below. Patreon. You can help me. Then you can join the Discord group where you talk to other people who also like this stuff, who also have problems. Then you can get together like a little hive mind and be like, I've got a shoot coming up. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can anyone help me? Yes. In fact, lots of people can because they've all been in that position. Anyway, it's fun. Okay. Many thanks. That's going to do it. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.